in Australia. I mean, this is crazy. Have you heard of AdBlue? Who? AdBlue? I've heard a cat named Kalamazoo, but what is AdBlue? Well, I'm going to tell you in just a second, and then you're going to ask yourself a question. Why did they do that? Well, here we go. First of all, look, our appearance plays a huge role in our overall satisfaction with life. Unfortunately, tons of anti-aging companies take advantage of that. Many of the products these companies promote, however, fall short. I mean, luckily, there's an alternative that has truly worked for me. It is called www.keto.com. That's www.keto.com. You see, weight management, and here it is. It was made by BioTrust. You see, weight management is a universal struggle. After we turn 20, this struggle becomes much harder. This is because our body's metabolism slows way down. It slows way down by as much as 4% each decade. This is why I highly recommend Keto with Paul. This amazing powder helped me lose more weight in a shorter period of time than anything else I've ever tried. Much like the keto diet, which is very difficult to keep, and my daughter-in-law does it, and I'm like, I can't deal with that. You don't have to if you use this fat-burning ketones in these elevated levels that are made in this www.keto with Paul. It'll help you lose weight easier, and you'll be glad you did. So check it out, guys. Check it out. Well, wow. AdBlue. What? Yeah, we even got a cat named Blue. Here's what this is about, folks, and I'm hoping this will help you, okay? I want you to pray for the people of Australia because they're down to 6 weeks supply left for the whole nation. And China is where it's made, and China doesn't want to ship anymore to Australia because they realize there's such a shortage, they better hang on to it for themselves. Europe makes it also, but they're slowly depleting. Let's talk about it. What is AdBlue? Check this out on the screen. Well, what is AdBlue, and why could an international shortage bring Australia's economy to its knees? For many people, terms like supply chain and logistics may be likely to cause their eyes to glaze over, while the networks that provide the goods consumers buy at supermarkets may be taken for granted. They are absolutely critical. Putting to one side the farms and the factories where the food and goods are produced, think of the trucks and the trains and the warehouses that ensure the products are actually delivered. It's a system of extreme complexity and importance, and yet it's at a risk of grinding to a halt within weeks because of a shortage of ingredients that you probably never heard of called AdBlue. Now, what is AdBlue? Technically known as diesel exhaust fluid. Let me say that again. AdBlue is diesel exhaust fluid. AdBlue is ostensibly an anti-pollutant that added to most modern diesel engines. The fluid is a mixture of organic compound, urea, and deionized water. It's injected from a separate small tank in the vehicle's exhaust system that cuts the harmful emissions down. Essentially, this tiny amount of AdBlue are squirted on the exhaust gases, turning the nitrogen oxides into nitrogen and water before they are vented from the vehicle. For anyone with a diesel car, you might be familiar with the blue cap that sits alongside the cap for the fuel tank. What? That's the tank cap for AdBlue. You have to add this chemical to keep the emissions down, the pollutants down. This is a green energy addition to the vehicles. The problem is these cars won't run without AdBlue. You can have all the diesel you want, but if you don't have the AdBlue, if you don't have AdBlue to put in it, the car is designed not to run, so that people had to put the AdBlue in it. That's the problem. And the demand for AdBlue has risen as fuel standards, especially in Europe, have become more and more strict. So the greener and greener and greener that they get in Europe, the more demand for AdBlue globally starts to come into play. And so what you do is you take fertilizer is made from urea also, which is critical for many Australian farming operations. Okay? A supply crunch of another product is causing AdBlue problems. Globally, stocks of the key ingredient, urea, are running dangerously low. China is the world's biggest producer of urea, and in recent weeks it has been moving to dramatically tighten its grip on supplies to keep a lid on surging prices. So they're price gouging, or actually they're price manipulating. That hit Australia particularly hard, given they source up to 80% of their urea supplies from China, the Middle Kingdom. And National Road Transport Association Chief Warren Clark said there were a few theories about what drove China's actions, but the mostly likely one is self-interest, self-preservation, if you will. We've heard things like the cost of fertilizer in China has internally grown and internally gone up dramatically, and a large portion of that is urea, according as what was told to ABC News recently. So what they've said is this: they do not want to export their urea to try and keep the price of local fertilizers down in their country. But that makes the price soar in other countries and even shut them down if they don't get it. It may be that there's some sort of trade issue and they've got with other countries around the world. It's not just Australia that's being impacted by this. As you would know, the whole world's going to be impacted by the lack of AdBlue chemicals, and that we didn't need AdBlue to make cars run, or to make trucks run, diesel engines of any kind. This was a green initiative. We've added an extra step to a growing market, which is diesel engines and transportation of goods and services that must have trucks to move it. You can imagine how big Australia is. Got all that land in between cities. I mean, everything's got to get transported. Same thing in America. Same thing, but all over Europe, everybody's got to have diesel. They run everything on diesel. And then all of a sudden, they don't have the AdBlue. They designed the car. The car could have been designed that it will run with AdBlue or it will run without AdBlue. And it could have gave the consumer the choice if they want to be a green driver or not. That would have been easy. Or, if you're going to do this, at least leave the option of freedom open. So, because some people may not want it to have the AdBlue. Why do they have to have the extra expense? They're not sure. They're not so sure that it makes much of a difference in the world carbon footprint. But now that they've backed themselves in a corner and they're running out of AdBlue, it don't matter how much diesel they have. It don't matter how much food they have. If the truck won't run without AdBlue, then you're gonna have a blue Christmas without you. We're gonna have a blue Christmas without you. We don't have that blue cap to turn it on. And without the ingredients, we'll be gone. We'll have a blue Christmas. I mean, I think that's what's going to happen, guys. I think that's actually what's going to happen. We have backed ourselves in a corner once again. And that's not a good thing. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's not a good thing. So, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. Give me 1 second here. That's not supposed to be playing. Give me 1 second. I have to push another button to show you something. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes. AdBlue. Oh, no. So, again, it's serious, okay? It's very serious. Now, I'm just saying we could have not, never back yourself in a corner. I mean, if you're going to make cars with a new component that's needed, make sure that your country you're in has gazillions of opportunity for that product. You can't live on outsourcing. If all you do is outsource, you might one day find yourself on the outside looking in without AdBlue. So, what am I going to say? Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? What? But there's more. Let me tell you some more information on this, because every time I think that we're about as far as something could go, it gets worse. Okay, it gets worse. Well, while it appears that the trucking fleets in Australia and other countries will be able to keep running for all important Christmas period, there are fears the matters will come to a head in 6 weeks from now. Some major trucking companies are reportedly set up to run out of supplies within weeks, while others have suggested stocks are unlikely to last beyond January. And it's a very similar story around the world. Last month in South Korea, resorted to drastic step of importing 27,000 liters of urea solution from Australia after China cracked down on their exports. In Europe, where a high proportion of private cars are diesel, AdBlue is all but unavailable. The tight market has sent prices of the additive soaring, with cost at the pump rising by as much as 10% over the last 2 days. I had a member call the other day. They've got 250 prime movers, trucks, so they're a big organization. A lot of their fuel they buy is in bulk. They are basically out of AdBlue next week. What are they going to do? This is not solved by then we have a major problem. Well, a lot of the farm equipment runs with AdBlue. And in a worst case scenario, Australia's economy would be brought to its knees. Diesel trucks and cars that used AdBlue simply will not run without the chemical. And according to British insurer AA, and would have to be parked until some supplies were found. And while that might sound like an inconvenient for a householder, it would be a calamitous for a broader economy. Trucks are indispensable to the smooth functioning of the economy and supply every business imaginable. And most importantly, they supply businesses essential to the lives of almost every Australian. I mean, this is getting crazy. What are they thinking? Okay, but you see, and we saw this in this country when we found out that most of our pharmaceuticals were produced in China. We see this all the time when we allow ourselves to back in ourselves in a corner. This one, though, is self-inflicted by coming up with a green chemical needed, but that green chemical is made in another country, especially a country that's really in a trade war with the West. It's really strange that you would put yourself in that kind of situation. But then again, a lot of the stuff that we've seen happening seems to be strange. The only good news I can say is that AdBlue is not a big deal here in America. It's not mandated, so it's not being forcibly put on all the trucks and diesel cars, not yet. But maybe we should learn from this and be very careful about what we do, okay? Pray for the people of Australia, because they're really going to be up against it without having the chemical AdBlue, they could be absolutely shut down economically, and it's really, really, that is really disappointing. What is AdBlue? So once again, China has demonstrated that they can always seem to get themselves in a position to where they can call the shots. They can get somebody in the world, whether it be Europe or Australia, United States or Canada or somebody, in a jam where they have nowhere else to go but to them. And then that's a game changer, especially when you hear the rumors of wars and rumors of wars. And the G7 just gathered today, and they really were putting out threats toward Russia, telling Russia, if you invade Ukraine, we will devastate you in your economy. But you see, you have to understand, before you can say these things, you better be sure you have all of your ducks in a row. Because Russia can make one phone call to shut down the AdBlue production and bring Europe to its knees. Or Russia could shut off the pipelines of crude oil that's flowing out of Russia, cutting across Ukraine into Europe. That's a ton. You say, well, they wouldn't do that because that would cripple their ability for income, and that's true, it would. But they would do it if they had to, if forced into a corner. So you see, once again, here we are discussing things that are critical, very critical, and can cause nations to turn against nations. All we had to do was leave those, hey, what? Hey, leave those trucks alone. We didn't need to see what I'm saying? Anyway, pray for the people of Australia. That's my main point here. The Bible tells us that there's going to be an economic collapse. Let's go to the Bible for your prophecy moment. Where is this at? Well, it's right there in the book of Revelation in chapter 6. We start talking about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and one of those horses is the black horse of the economy, and it does affect the world. And what brings it on? Nobody knows it right this moment. Pkwy, thank you for calling it out, Ken. Thank you. Yes, here it is, Revelation chapter 6. And here's what the scripture says. And this is a spiritual release, but it causes economic repercussions. The Bible says in Revelation chapter 6, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder. One of the 4 beasts was saying, come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat on him had a bow and a crown was given unto him. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he had opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, a great weapon. And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard the voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. In other words, the economy, hyperinflation globally will go out of control. And when that does, well, then people get backed in a corner, and that's what causes wars and rumors of wars to break out over resources. And so AdBlue. AdBlue. What is Australia going to do? And Europe. We'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We're truly living in the last days. We're living in the end times. And Jesus Christ is coming soon. You don't want to be left behind, folks. You don't want to be left behind. Call on the name of the Lord. God bless all of you. Are you serious? Wait a minute, someone said. You didn't play our song. I knew you was going to do that. So you know what I had to do? I had to get myself ready for such a question, just in case I don't know what I'm doing. I think I have a song ready, don't I? Or did I mess up again? Wait. Oh my, did I mess up? Wait. Are you serious? Wait. You know, a dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows, and the dreamer's just a vessel, must follow where it goes, trying to learn from what's behind you, never knowing what's in store, makes each day a constant battle, just to stay between the shore. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Too many times we stand aside and let the water slip away, till we put off till tomorrow what's now become today. So don't you sit upon the shoreline and say you're satisfied. Choose to chance all the rapids and dare to dance the tide. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. There's bound to be rougher waters, and I know I'll take some falls, but with the good Lord as my captain, I can make it through them all. Sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. No, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. The river runs dry. River runs dry. River